The truth is, you are going to continue to work in a split mind until you integrate it into inner union. And what that means is wholeness, oneness, everything the spiritual people are telling you, and everything you're trying to become whole and complete. And I'm going to share with you in this video exactly how you do that and how you can look at that. The thing is, the biggest split, the biggest and probably the only thing you ever really need to heal as a person, as a being, is the healing of separation from oneness. The fall from God, the fall from oneness, the split. So most people in this reality, okay, we can talk about being unawakened and whatnot, not fully conscious, not fully whole and aware when you are operating in a split mind. When you are separating or refusing to acknowledge the reality, the consciousness, and you're operating from the ego mind, the thinking mind, the thoughts, the body, the emotions, and thinking and mistaking that it's yours. So this is the thing. Most people will have this ego persona and identity that it's meant to make you feel like this is so real and that's who you are. But you are not the ego. Like you are not inside the ego. But the moment that you are not awakened, it's gonna feel like you are. Like, hi, my name is, where I'm from, this is what I do, this is what I'm about. And I, and me, and they, and all of these pronouns and ways of explaining and describing yourself is actually keeping you small and keeping you looping on a script. The reason why the awakening has started within you, hence why you're watching this video, is that you know that there's more. So that's the light. Okay, the light awakening, the oneness energy and frequency, it feels true. Okay, if I were to ask you, does oneness feel true? Yes or yes? Okay, let me know down below. Oneness will feel true in your heart, in your soul, in your depth, because truth can only be deeply known. It can't really be fully understood until you experience it as truth yourself. So when you go into oneness, this state, which I'm going to take you through, is knowing, first of all, you are operating from the split mind. You think that there is another. You think there's something for you to chase. You think that you're not good enough. You think that there's this person that pisses you off. When you're operating in the contrasting world, it's going to create chaos. And chaos in your world is a sign that you're operating in the split mind. Oh, but Tina, but there's chaos going on all over the place. And, have you seen the news? That's not exactly how that works. How it works is that your personal reality, that's not going to have this suffering chaos type of energy. There can be events, but it won't affect you. And by the way, you will actually stop watching the negative news if you are at a certain consciousness level, because you are no longer being fed the lies by the ego mind saying, I must be informed by watching this one singular event that, affects this singular person. And now this is a bad, terrible thing, and allowing other people to program me. You actually become more recluse, but at the same time, you are more in your world. So what does that mean is that when you're operating from split mind, it's very hard for you to be present. Okay? You're never here. When you're here, you think about the past. When you're here, you think about the future. You're never here. Like, you notice the texture of things, right? The touch, your five senses activated in the here and now. And that puts you in the moment of here-ness, now-ness, presence. And you are in the most magnetic field that you can ever be in, because that's your creative field. Because everything can only be created from the now. The thoughts of your past can only be created from the now. If you don't think about your past in the now, it wouldn't come up in the now. Think about that for a second. If you don't worry about your future in the now, there would not be worry. And when you go deeper into it, you realize when you remove all these things, you observe your emotions, you observe your thoughts. You are not your emotions, you are not your thoughts. You're the observer, and you see that, oh my gosh, it's just like traffic. It's like, you just go outside and you just watch all the cars go by. It's like that. You are not the cars, you're the observer watching the cars. So once you begin to kind of like pull yourself out and kind of operating from this third consciousness, this is a way that I find that is helpful for me. It's like I would do this pulling out. Okay, so I would pull myself out, kind of like being in my higher self. Okay, so you can do that. You can sit here, right? Like sit and be like, okay, I'm gonna pull myself out and kind of like pretend you're like the higher self spirit type thing. Okay, and I want you to look at yourself in this current situation, the present moment, and you can see clearly what's going on. Like this person, okay, whatever your name is excessively thinking, he or she's in fear. He or she is just not in the present. You can see that, okay, when you pull your consciousness back and looking at it from a bird's eye view. And when you begin to catch yourself that your mind, your thinking is out of whack, is out of sync with the natural rhythm of life. Because life, there is a stillness to it. Life is kind of like that ASMR. Have you seen an ASMR video? It's very, I do this, or I don't know how to do it because scratch, right? Imagine the silence. You're preparing a meal. You're moving slowly. You're washing the dishes. Right? When you're doing something, you hear the mouse click. That is real life with no commentary, okay? With no over-functioning, with no thoughts of anxiousness derived from false urgency. Look now, do it now. Your nervous system relaxes, and you no longer feel like you need to be anywhere else but here. So this is why it doesn't matter what you follow, religion, spiritual practices, whatever, gurus, it will always come back to some form of presence. It will always come back to some form of being here and now. Whether it's meditating, breathing, whatever it might be, the practice and the goal and the truth is to bring you back, your consciousness back into the here and now. So your left side is no longer fighting your right side. You're no operating in a split mind. Because actually, when you go deeper into certain deep spiritual work or philosophies or religions, the real work, like the real people who become enlightened, who operating from wholeness, it's not so much about healing. They actually don't even talk much about healing. They just talk about being aware and conscious. And you can only be aware and conscious in the moment. Whether it's breathing, whether it's, sitting in solitude, whether it's watching your breath, whatever these things are. It's very interesting because, I've noticed Buddhist monks, they don't talk about healing. They just meditate. They teach meditation, right? Mindfulness, so like that. And that's how everything is already healed, because the only true healing is the healing of separation, the healing of illusion. that this reality is not actually real. And I feel like you always knew parts of that in your heart. And I always say, if someone believes in manifestation, how can they not believe that you don't live in the real world? Because how do you explain that? Right? So understand that everything is created twice, once, okay, in the consciousness. And then this reality is the material realm. Why is it called the material realm? Because it gets materialized through thoughts, through the consciousness that is being created, the awareness, the images of the mind. And why things can be chaotic in your life if you're operating from the split mind, I can explain it in a couple of ways. One way is think about, hey, I want to manifest this $1 million, right? Why is not even happening? And it looks like, okay, my bank is like this and the money is like this and it looks worse. And, it looks crazy because one moment you're like, oh yeah, I affirm, I'm a millionaire, da, 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 da. The next moment, oh no, I'm gonna pay my rent. Okay, and then the next moment it's like, oh, I'm so abundant. The next moment it's like, oh my gosh, that's so expensive, or whatever it may be. So basically, you have these incoherent thoughts. The thing that gets manifested easily is the more you're not emotionally charged, and you're not like in a split way. Okay, you're not emotionally charged here and you're emotionally charged here. It's something that you kind of more detach because there's no, tuck and pull. It's very easy for things to come through. Right? It's like trying to like birth a baby and you're like holding it in. Should I birth the baby? Should I? It's like, it just, it's just weird. It's just allowing. And that's why the whole process is surrendering and letting go and let nature and the contraction does its work. So operating in a split mind, one way you can look at it is, what are the resistances? I want you to ask yourself this. What are the resistances in my life right now? And it could be about any areas. Okay? That is your split mind. Because things should just flow. Okay? You're a human being. You're here to just be. There shouldn't be any really weird tuck and pull. I want to do this, I shouldn't do it. I don't want to do it, I shouldn't do it. Who is talking? What is talking? What is going on here? There should only be that stream of the river. It is meant to flow in a one way, very coherent kind of way. So when you're having resistances, like, okay, I want money. Okay, I want lots of monies. And then, oh no, I'm not a good spiritual person. These are conflicting thoughts. Okay? So that's why, for example, maybe you show up and doing your spiritual work and you're like, oh no, now I feel bad charging for it. But I know I want to make a living off my spiritual practices because, my talents and my skill sets are valuable. And at the same time, you operate from that split mind. So that happens a lot with, a lot of spiritual light workers. If that's something that you struggle with, I have a light worker starseed energy activation power up, and that's when we go into the lower chakras and the higher chakras and helping you materialize in this reality. Because a lot of people who are in the spiritual light work, they operate in a very high upper chakra. So your upper chakra, your divine feminine channel, is very open, and that the connection with the lower chakras hasn't been integrated fully. So I go deeper into that integration, that bringing down the resistance and fully land in the 3D material realm. So I'll link that in the pinned comment in the description. So if you're interested, check it out. I think it's around 2 hours, and you can just soak it in and open up the field. I got you through it. So when you begin to experience your world in a way where it is just the path forward. I let go of resistance. I let go of outcomes. I'm just the journeyer along the river. That is true detachment. Because you're not attached to outcome. You set the intention of what it is that you like, but you know fully that there's nothing that you need to force yourself to create it. The only thing is that allow it to naturally land, because if you are if you know that that's your true heart's desire, is meant to come to you. You're the magnetic point. You are the magnet. But it is not because you are not good enough. It's because you have resistance to the thing. You know what I mean? So I'll give you this example. I know why we're looking very romantic here, but it is actually something that I have resisted for so long. Like, I was never a flower person, and I always thought that it was so girly and so basic. And I was like, no, I don't like that. That's just so basic, that's so typical, that's so girly. I resisted it for really long, in my life. I'm in my flower era right now. So that is me integrating, okay? Integrating and witnessing that I have certain resistance to things like basic things like flowers. Like it just is. So what is it that is that trigger point? What is it that is that resistant point? And when I go deep into it, it might not come up, for you right away. But when you begin to look into it, it will reveal to you. And it's very interesting because it's actually a pattern and a narrative that you tell yourself. The narrative that I told myself was, the driving force behind the narrative, first of all, I want to share this with you, is because I felt there's a deep need to be unique and to be special. Because in my upbringing, at some point when I came to Canada, without knowing a word of English, and I knew a few words, but it wasn't great, okay? I was bullied and teased, and I felt like my uniqueness as like someone who doesn't really fit into the culture, it was a bad thing. So instead of me feeling like, oh my God, I'm gonna feel like a victim for the rest of my life, it was kind of like my defense mechanism that, I'm gonna be unique, I'm gonna be special, but in a good way, in a cool way somehow. So I'm not this lame girl who gets made fun of. And at the same time, when I moved to Canada, I wasn't so close with my parents. I was raised by my grandmama in Vietnam. So when I came to Canada, it was like living with strangers. And what that did to me, I mean, their personality is that they were very busy. They were very workaholic. They were very focused on their work, and they didn't know how to really take care of like a, little 8-year-old girl. And I was just kind of left there. And I felt very neglected and abandoned and unattended and uncared for. So it's like subconsciously I wanted to be noticed. I wanted, love, affection, care, attention, nurture. So all of these things, it goes into the psyche of there's the need for significance. There's a need for specialness. And let me know if you feel this too, because a lot of it, like the need for significance is actually a really big drive for a lot of people who, make a name for themselves, right? Get motivated and do something. So it's not really like it's not a good or a bad thing, but you have to understand your own psychology and how it works. So something as simple as realizing my triggers and my resistances to something that is so basic, natural, like flowers, it showed me where the narratives that wasn't really serving me anymore can collapse. Because right now it's like, oh my God, I don't need to, if I keep on operating a split mind, I'm going to be like, oh, I need to try for the need of significance and feeling special. So I'm going to be the cool girl. I'm going to be the unique person. I'm going to live this, life and have this personality that I'm super special and not like the, basic biatches. But when I surrender to that and not judge myself, my true self, this other side of me began to open, which is the super basic side of me. Like, guys, okay, for the past 9 years, I've traveled the world living this super alternative lifestyle, jet set, whatever lifestyle, doing, digital nomad, whatever. I was living the cool life. And all of that was coming back to that theme of my life. So when I open and stop rejecting the very basic side of me, I want a comfy bed, I like basic things like flowers, like the other girls. I like to look cute, like basic girls, and that's something that I suppressed within myself because I was like, oh, this is so basic, this is so beneath me. I'm so much cooler. I don't need makeup. I don't need this. I don't need that. But it's not about needing. It's about not resisting. It's about allowing yourself to operate and handle both. Because we are both. I am special and not special. Just like you are special and not special. See if that brings up any triggers when I said that. Because the first time when I heard that, it definitely triggered me. But then as I integrate that, it's the truth. We are significant and not significant. We are powerful, yet so basic. So we could die at any time. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. When you come back into oneness, you will realize that you can hold both. I am this amazing, bright light. And at the same time, I can be a little dark. We all have that tendency. We all have that. We all have darkness and light within us. And to deny it is to deny our humanity and to deny who we truly are and to deny aspects of ourselves. So you see, the suppression and the denying and the resistance creates a lot of tuck and pull. And when you're in this, your body's not relaxed. And when it's not relaxed, it's not safe to open for the divine flow, for the oneness, for the consciousness to flow. So you might never find out who you are if you continue to resist who you truly are. Let that land. Stop resisting who you truly are. And an example I like to give is some people, as I coach light workers and people quitting their 9 to 5, just like I did, and become the light that they came here to be and share their teaching and healing and guidance and stuff like that. A lot of people, I have to say, you think YouTube or social media or even being an entrepreneur is for you because now you quit your 9 to 5. Just be open that it might not. Because sometimes that's what we think, right? We think we want to be a best-selling author. We want to be like Tony Robbins. We want to be on the stage. We want to travel the world. We want to be a digital nomad. We want to be a YouTuber. We want to be, whatever, okay? A viral, whatever, famous person. But actually, be open that it might not be your true role because what you think is not the true thing. But you have to allow yourself to experience and come to terms with who you truly are and what is it that works for you. So then you no longer operate on a split mind because sometimes it's about what other people expect of you. Okay? And sometimes it's what you expect of yourself. Now I quit my 9 to 5, so I need to be an entrepreneur. I want to do the spiritual work, so I must be a coach. Not always. Not everyone is meant to teach. Not everyone likes to teach. Not everyone prefers teaching. You can showcase, you can channel consciousness and do your healing work through various medium that suits you at that given time. Can be creating jewelry, can be, through fashion design, right? Conscious fashion or whatever. It can be your cooking. When you put love and intentions and care into the food. You don't have to be some spiritual teacher, guru on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So you have to come to terms with what you are. So once you follow that path, sometimes maybe your channel is not popping, or maybe your, online, whatever coaching business is not having a momentum. It could mean different things for you. But one of the possibilities, remember one of the possibilities is maybe that's just not the path for you. Only you know that. Okay, or maybe the way you're meant to show up is different. Because you think you have to have this perfect equipment, perfect mic, fancy mic with cute, bling on it, okay, whatever it might be. But then, you can be a little ghetto, right? Starting out, right? Definitely when I started out, it was not looking that glam. But, start from the bottom, now we're here, right? Allowing yourself to just be honest, and be honest. Keep on thinking of the David Beckham and Victoria Beckham. Be honest. Oh my God, anyone knows that meme? All right, it's so funny. So allowing yourself to just be honest about who you are, what you are really about, and most of the time, this is very important, you are both. You are both. Remember, you are both special and not special. You are both this and that. It's not this or that, it's this and that. Okay? You are both amazing, unique, individual at the same time. You're a human being, just like everyone else who pees and poops. Okay? You know what I'm saying? You can, if you can hold both, if you can really hold both, that's when your life changes. It's the mindset that I'm only this and I need to adhere to this, that can keep you actually caged and imprisoned. I was 4 years a vegan. 4 years of vegan. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking like 13 years a slave. That movie. Anyway, yeah, I was vegan for 4 years. That sounds more normal. I was vegan for 4 years, and honestly, it wasn't like a smooth journey, because I had a lot of these like resistances within myself, because when I would show up to vegan conventions, there were like, certain people have this rule, like you cannot wear this, you cannot do this, you cannot do this. I'm like, this is the only jacket I have. Like, it was a winter jacket. They're like, no, you need to take it off before you enter our, vegan place. And I'm just like, well, I mean, it's freaking cold here. Like, this is the only jacket I have. You want me to buy a new jacket? But I feel like, yeah, sure, I can get where they're coming from. The jacket is not vegan or whatever. And I remember I cut the tag off of my, like, I don't know, like $1,000 jacket. And I'm like, I'm not gonna throw it away because I'm vegan. It was a gift from my mom, And so there was a lot of these things where like, okay, well, I feel like I have to fit this vegan mold. I have to buy new jackets so these freaking vegan people wouldn't be angry at me, And then when I began to do my spiritual work online, I was like, oh my gosh, what if I tell people that I'm not vegan anymore? They're going to be mad at me, right? Or like I started getting fried chicken cravings, honestly, at the end. That's how I knew I was like, I'm done with the vegan thing. And then I was really like judging myself for it. And I felt like a terrible person. And I felt like the whole world's going to judge me and I'm going to be the worst person on planet Earth, all of that. And there was all these things like, oh my God, am I going to hide it from my audience? Do they care? Are they going to stop following me? Are they going to unsubscribe? All of these things that once I put myself in that label, vegan, and I felt like I wanted to follow all these rules, no one forced me. It's on the head. It puts me in that separation. It puts me in that fear consciousness. It put me in that split. But when I just accept myself fully that I can choose, what's good for me, and I trust myself fully. And actually, after I stopped being vegan, it wasn't like meat, kind of person. It was, I eat mostly vegan stuff, but the label vegan freed me. Not the taking off the vegan label freed me, because I no longer was in a box. I could just be who I want to eat, who I want. And what I was preferring to eat a lot at the time was vegan stuff anyway, but I didn't have to be boxed in. So I hope this example will remind you and bring forth to your awareness, because that's what my videos, my channel aim to do. Let me know if this is helpful for you. Give me a like. Let me know in the comments that sometimes we put ourselves in a box. We put ourselves in a cage. We put ourselves in a little prison bar. Sometimes we are the only obstacle for our own freedom. And our own freedom is just allowing us to just drop it, just let it go. Just let it go. Letting go of trying to be a good person. Letting go of trying to be a good anything. Let go of trying to be a light worker. Trying to let go of whatever, vegan label. And just be. Eat what you want to eat, wear what you want to wear, say what you want to say, do what you want to do, create what you want to create. And that's true freedom. True freedom is not about traveling to all these places and staying at beautiful places and do whatever you want, wake up wherever you want. That's what I experienced literally in my life for the past 9 years. It's a freaking dream paradise. But that's not true freedom. True freedom is inside. That's why I teach this stuff, because I actually know what true soul freedom feels like. Is being your true self without guilt and shame and fear, and letting go of the resistance that I need to show up and I need to be in any kind of way. And for you is being that true version of you and showing up and being like, you know what? This is me. If someone would like to judge you and stop being your friend and stop, dating you and stop being nice to you because you are truly your truest, purest self, they are not for you. So just think of it like that, right? Because a lot of us, we fear, right? We fear of losing friends and losing our belonging, but you didn't come here to belong. You came here to pave the path of freedom. That's the real life work. Knowing that we were free all along and we're whole all along. There's nothing wrong with us all along. And it is our pathological split mind thinking that we need to resist certain things because whatever reason, we need to resist the things we like, the flowers we like, the clothes we like, right? The people we like. Like maybe there's certain people like, oh, I need to be in this arranged, relationship. And because of my, religion or whatever is passed down from my family, that's the, tradition. And then you suppress your true need or your true self of maybe loving in a more free way or exploring certain, people option that are true for your heart, right? So sometimes it's really just removing all these things that was placed upon you and knowing that what a privilege to be free, a free mind, because with a free mind that gets manifest in the free world. So I want you to begin allowing your thoughts to subside and just focus on the here and now and allowing your true self to just come through. And it's automatic. You don't have to do anything. You have to surrender and let go. Every moment. It's not about healing. It's about doing it. It's just about being with yourself. Because a lot of people, they want to run away from themselves. They want to do things to make them not who they truly are because they believe who they truly are is not good enough. Okay, and sometimes it's not even about doing more, it's about doing less. Like, like in my case, it's like trying to be like, more humble, right? More like, yeah, I don't want these things, but I do. But I do, and I like it. And once I began to fully integrate who I truly am and come to inner union, I realized that I'm both. There's that minimalistic, super humble. I really don't need much in my life because that's the truth. You don't need anything. You are everything. And then there's the other side. It's like, yeah, this is what I prefer. This is my preference, and this is, what I like. And I can hold both, and I'm not gonna make anything wrong. And I want you to begin to reflect where you are suppressing your needs, where you are suppressing your preferences, where you are suppressing your expression. Okay, I want you to really note and write this word down: expression. Where are you suppressing your expression, your true self, your true soul expression? Maybe you want to dance, but then you're like, oh my God, maybe I'm not a good dancer. Then it stops you. But what if you just let it go? Let go of good, bad. Can you dance? Can you let go of the guilt and the shame? Can you just do that? And then you realize something is so simple, why there's so much resistance. It's because the story you tell yourself, the guilt and shame and emotions and the narrative you hold within yourself that splits your consciousness, that gives this tuck and pull where you can just be, when you can just dance. You know what I mean? You can't just dance now. You can't just move now. You can't just quit that job now. You know what I mean? You could do anything now. But it's because you're trying to, you think thinking is going to get you somewhere, but it won't. It keeps you in the loop. Okay. Okay, let me know what comes up for you below. And yeah, I feel like I don't want to make this so long. It's already so long, but there's a lot that I want to share with you. And truthfully, I'm not sure how to share all of this because I feel like I'm navigating through a new phase where I'm still getting used to the vibe. So, if you feel like my energy is a bit different lately, because it is, and in all the best ways possible. But I'm excited to share more with you, and let's see what comes through. This is Tina Wong. I love you so much. Like this video if you want to support the channel, if you're gonna give it some good energy, and subscribe if you haven't already. I love you. And here's the next video for you.